Hey everyone, we are going to be learning about slope-intercept form. Now, slope-intercept form is a special form. It is in the format of y equals mx plus b, or right here, y equals mx plus b, where m is a letter, but it actually represents a number. It's a number in front of the x it's touching, and that is the slope. And then the y-intercept is right here. That is found by b. So if we had an equation like this, let's just say y equals 2/3 x plus 1, all right? This number 1 on the outside, that is the y-intercept. That is where this graph intercepts the y-axis. This number right here, 2/3, the number that is touching the x or multiplied by the x, that is the slope, and that is m, okay? Notice that in the equation slope-intercept form, it is solved for y. Y is completely by itself, and that is the case here. Now, if you have something where y is not by itself, you have to use your wonderful mathematics skills and get algebraic skills and get y by itself. That is very, very key, that y has to be completely by itself. So let's go ahead and graph this. The first thing you graph is the y-intercept. So you graph the y-intercept first, and then after that you graph the slope from the y-intercept, okay? So you have to graph it from the y-intercept. So here, let's do this. So our y-intercept is 1. We're just going to go up to 1 right there. That is where this equation intersects the y-axis. The y-intercept is 1. And then from the y-intercept, we are going to do the slope. And remember, the slope, m, equals the rise over the run. So what that means is we are going to rise 2 units. So from this y-intercept, I'm going to rise 2 units, 1, 2, and then I'm going to run a positive 3. So I'm going in the positive direction. 1, 2, 3. And that is our slope. Up 2 over 3. Now you could do it again. Up 2, 1, 2, and over 3, 1, 2, 3. Up 2 over 3, 1, 2, 3. You'd end up with something like that. And then you can also do the opposite. You could go down to 1, 2, and over 3 the other way. 1, 2, 3. I wonder why that is. Okay, well, let's look at it for a second. If we know that our slope is 2 over 3, that is our slope. Well, what happens if our slope is equal to negative 2 over 3? What is negative 2 over a negative 3? Well, a negative and negative is a positive. So what that means is that negative 2 over negative 3 is actually the same thing as 2 over 3. So that's why the slope can sometimes be negative 2 minus 3. So it's the opposite. So from here you could go down to 1, 2, and then over 3 in the negative direction, 1, 2, 3. And if you keep doing that, down 2 over 3, 1, 2, 3, down to 1, 2 over 3, 1, 2, 3. What you will see is that all of those points make a wonderful and magnificent line, like so. All right? So that's how you graph a line, using the slope-intercept formula. Now, this is something that you are going to have to know, the slope-intercept formula. Y equals mx plus b. Always, that's when you solve things for y. So let's go ahead and look at some problems. Let's see how we will be conquering some of these problems. The first one, what it says is, write each equation in slope-intercept form. So that's what we're going to have to do first. And then find the slope and the y-intercept. Got it. Okay. So it's asking us to write it in slope-intercept form. We just went over that. That's equal to y equals mx plus b, right? And then from that form, we need to figure out what the slope is. The slope is the m, and the y-intercept is the b. It's a special little letter that we use for the y-intercept. So this equation is actually in standard form. That was a form that we talked about a little while ago. Remember, ax plus by equals c, where the x and the y are on the same side. So, and the numbers over here. what we're going to do is we're going to take an equation that is in standard form and use our magnificent algebraic skills to convert it to slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So to do that, I have to isolate y. I got to get y by itself. So what's around y? Well, this 2x's. Well, I need to get rid of it. Hasta la vista, negative 2x. So what happens is those cancel, and what we're left with is y equals a negative 2x plus 3. Now, y is all by itself, except there being a positive one, so we are good. That is our slope-intercept form right there. Now, hey, what is our y-intercept? Well, our y-intercept is 3. It's the number here on the outside. So we're going to say b equals 3. That is our y-intercept. And then what is our slope? M equals, oh my gosh, where's the dragon? The dragon, there's a fly, and I need the dragon to fight him off. Hold on. If he comes back, the dragon has my back. But don't pause the video. The dragon's just going to fight off this fly. Okay, so y-intercept is 3, and then the slope is equal to negative 2. Oh, I see. So, negative 2. Okay, now whenever you're talking about the slope, you have to convert the slope into a fraction. Now that's super easy because it's just negative 2 over 1. All right, done. Okay, from here we need to graph it. So the first thing you graph is the y-intercept, and the second thing you graph is the slope from the y-intercept. Okay, so here we go. Y-intercept is 3. Oh, positive 3. Y-axis is here. The y-intercept intercepts the y-axis. So we go 1, 2, 3. Boom shakalaka. That is the y-intercept. Now from there, we can, what can we do? We have to graph the slope. So remember, the slope is the rise over the run, right? And so here we are going to be, we're not really rising, we're falling, but we are falling negative 2. So we're going to go down 2, 1, 2, and then it is a positive 1, so we're going to go over 1 this way. And we're just going to keep doing this. Down 2, 1, 2, over 1. And that's the slope. Down 2 over 1. Down 2, 1, 2 over 1. Down 2, 1, 2 over 1. All right, we just keep doing this. And we form, or we could do the opposite. We could go up 2 and over 1 this way. Now, why can we do that? Well, let's see. What I'm doing is I'm going a positive 2 and a negative 1. And that's really the same thing. Negative 2 over 1, or 2 over negative 1, or just negative 2 over 1, just with a negative on the outside. These are all the same thing. They're all equivalent. So that's what we're doing. We're doing this right here. We're going to go up 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to go over in the negative direction, negative 1. And see, it still follows that line shape. So up 2 over 1 this way, up 2 over 1 that way, and there you go. Let's graph our line. And where is it? Let me graph it. Okay, I think that looks about good. What do you think? Right about there? All right, there we go. And that is our wonderful, magnificent line. Perfect. On to 2A. 2B. Oh, that was just 2A. Okay, on to 2B. 2B or not to be. Okay, never mind. All right, so here we are solving. We have the equation 5y equals 3x. Now, this is not in standard form because the x and the y are not on the same side. This is just some equation, and it's totally fine. It's okay. What we need to do is we need to isolate y. We need to put this into slope-intercept form. Okay, so we need to get y by itself. Is y by itself? No, it's not by itself. There's this big old 5 right there. We need to get rid of it. This is 5 times y. Now, what's the inverse operation of multiplication? Yes, you are right. It is division. So we are going to do the division property of equality. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times y is y. So we are left with y equals 3/5 x. Okay, that is it. That is our equation in slope-intercept form. So we need to know, what is our y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept is the number, if we remember right, the number off to the side, y equals mx plus b. Now in this equation, this is kind of tricky. I don't see a number off to the side. But you know what? There is a number off to the side. Shh, don't tell them what it is. Pause, dragon, go away. I am going to tell them what it is. No, don't do it. They're not ready for it. Yes, I'm going to tell them what it is. Go away. Get out of here, pause, dragon. Okay. All right, here we go. if there is no number on the outside, what that means is that the y-intercept is 0. Yes, it is. The y-intercept is 0. There is nothing there, and nothing means 0, so the y-intercept is 0. That's okay. So then we're just going to do the slope. The slope is equal to the number that is touching the x, which is 3/5. 3/5 times x. Yeah, it's just 3/5. All right. There we go. Okay. We are ready to graph it. So we are going to first graph our y-intercept, and then we're going to graph our slope from the y-intercept. So our y-intercept is 0, right there in the middle. And then from here, we're going to do our slope, which is a positive 3 over 5, rise over run. So we're going to rise up 3, 1, 2, 3, and run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to rise up 3 again in the positive direction because it's a positive 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to run in a positive direction 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And we can do the opposite because negative 3 divided by negative 5, and negative is a positive, right? And it's the same thing as 3/5. So we're going to do the opposite. We are going to go down in the negative direction 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to run in the negative direction 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then one more time, we're going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect, and we are ready to graph our line. Let's do this. And there we go. That is it. Another beautiful, magnificent line. All right. And then there was 2C. Okay. Okay, got to do the same thing for this one. Now, this one is in standard position. This isn't where the x and the y are on the same side of the equation. We need to put it into slope-intercept form, remember, which is y equals mx plus b. So we're going to do that. We're going to isolate y, get y by itself. Well, all we need to do is get rid of this 4x first. So we're going to subtract the 4x to both sides. We are left with 3y equals negative 4x plus 9 because that's a positive 9. And then what I'm going to do is the y is not by itself. It has this 3. We need to get rid of the 3. The y needs to be completely by itself to be in slope-intercept form. So we are going to divide this by 3. Now, whenever you're dealing with lines, you don't want to just divide the whole thing by 3. When you're dealing with lines, what you want to do is you want to divide this little piece by 3 and divide this little piece by 3. You want to divide each piece by 3. Now, 3 divided by 3 here is 1, and 1 times y is y. We are left with negative 4/3, which is fine, x, plus 9 divided by 3, which is 3. And there we go. We have our equation in slope-intercept form. I think the key to this particular type is to make sure that you divide each little section by 3. Don't just divide it all by 3 like some of you have been doing, which is completely when you're just solving stuff. But when you are putting things into slope-intercept form, you want to make sure you just divide each section by 3. Okay, now what is the y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept is the number out here on the side. And hey, there's a number on the outside this time. That means that b is equal to a positive 3, or just 3. And then what's the slope? Well, the slope is the number touching the x multiplied by the x, which is negative 4 over 3. Perfect. Time to graph. We're going to graph the y-intercept and then the slope. And the slope is graphed from the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is 3. Let's go up 3. 1, 2, 3. There it is. And then from here, we're going to graph the slope, which is the rise over the run, right? So we're going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 3 in a positive direction because it's a positive 3. 1, 2, 3. Go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 3, 1, 2, 3. Down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we can do the opposite because this is the same thing as a positive 4 over a negative 3. So from this y-intercept, we can go positive 4. We can go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a negative 3. So 3 in the negative direction, which would be that direction. Where are we? Up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This way. 1, 2, 3. And then there you go. Let's graph our line with our nice little handy-dandy ruler. And there you go. Okay, good. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now it is your turn to graph some lines. So you're going to make sure that you need to